Thank you so much. As I was introduced, my name is Jason Connor, and I'm the Executive Director of LevPros. We're actually the newest brand launched by Keller Williams. We launched at this family reunion, and we are really proud to be the official transaction management solution for KW agents nationwide. So we're really excited about that, but I came today to talk about something a little different. I wanted to share with you some of the lessons we learned starting the company that became LevPros directly before one of the biggest shifts we've ever seen, the pandemic. And so I want to start by giving you a little bit of a disclaimer. I'm originally from West Virginia, but I've lived in Philadelphia for over a decade. Some of you may know, yes, Philly, I heard someone say Philly, there we go. You may know two things are really famous from Philadelphia, right? I know you're thinking cheesesteaks and cream cheese. Okay, it's actually cursing a lot and talking really fast. So I have donated enough money to KW Cares that hopefully I will not curse while I'm on stage, but I may still talk fast, and just forgive me. But I wanted to share with you some of those lessons we learned. Now here's some perspective. I started this company in November of 2019. Okay, we all know what happened in December and then leading up to March when everything shut down. And I started it with the idea that I was going to build something massive. But I started it with $400 and no paid staff, including me. And so what I wanted to share with you is some of the lessons we learned as we were able to still succeed, because 18 months later, we had over 20 paid staff and we're a multi-million-dollar company. So thank you. Yeah, that's something to celebrate. Appreciate that. And I wanted to share some of these lessons I learned because I'm you, right? I have been a solo agent, I've been an admin, I've been a mega team owner. I'm currently a solo agent again, right, for my sales business. And so all of that thought went into what we're developing. So let's talk about the first thing you have to do when you're analyzing your business. Some of you here may be new and you're just starting that business planning. Some of you may be in year 20 and really need a refresh. Okay? And I'm not talking about the fillers and but like just, actually refresh your systems. Okay? And so wherever you may be, I hope we can find something today to share with you. But in every one of those ventures, you have to really understand your why. And I'm sure you've heard lots of folks from different stages talk about the big why. And what I knew in 2019 were two things. One, my passion has always been around helping those who maybe don't have equal access to opportunities. As a closeted gay kid that grew up about as poor as you can be in this country in rural West Virginia, I've always been keenly aware of what Leela Rushton said best when she said that talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. And so my passion has always been to find those who maybe do not have the opportunity and connect them because they already have the talent. And so when we started this company, that was a big, serious thing that I wanted to tackle. The other thing that I knew was important to me is I was tired of being lonely. Anyone here ever feel like leadership, and by the way, if you're a solo agent, you're a leader, you get that, right? Does anyone here ever feel like leadership is really lonely? Yeah, really, really lonely. And so when I'd owned the team and I'd been a productivity coach in several market centers and I had all this business going on, but I felt really lonely and I felt like the job was always mine. And so the other thing I wanted to take into this was to build a team of professionals that could run as fast as me and keep up with me so that I would have that camaraderie, because leadership is hard, right? So those are my two whys. Okay. Take a moment and let's pretend like the last 2 decades, aka the last 2 years, didn't just happen, right? Remember how we were so bright and young. I didn't have any of the wrinkles in my forehead in 2019. We didn't know what we didn't know, right, about the trials we were about to face. And have y'all noticed that during the pandemic, it kind of seems to be one of two extremes. Either agents are having the best year they've ever had, or they're ready to leave the industry. Anyone else seen that? Right? I propose that the difference is on those that are having their best year ever is that they were set up to succeed in a shift. Now, when we think about a shift, we often think about a down market, right? Most of us have not experienced down markets in the last 2 years. However, we experience a monumental shift in the mentality of the market and how we interact with our agents. Everyone is tired and cranky. Are you tired and cranky? I'm tired and cranky. I'm tired and cranky right now. And so we have to know that when we're going in and talking to these folks, right? And so what helped us and what helped my team be able to succeed during all of that was that I'd been coming to things like this for years. I'd been to Family Reunion. I'd read the MREA 10, 15, 20 times, right? I think I'm on 21 now. I studied the models. I'd listen when Gary and Jay Papasan and Jason Abrams talk about how to winterize and get ready for a shift. And so we had that foundational model and those systems and that leverage set up, and I really believe that's why we were able to be successful. So what are those foundational elements to shift-proof your business, okay? We discussed number one, and that's knowing your why, right? If you truly understand your why, you'll never be tempted to quit. And I'm gonna share some moments where I was real tempted to quit the last 2 years, okay? But I was very clear on my why, and I was motivated by it. And so I didn't quit. The second is you need to set your standards to winterize levels. That means that if you're setting your standards, and for a solo agent, that might be your lead generation standards, it may be your hiring standards, it may be the standards you have around systems, right? But whatever those standards are, they need to be able to rocket in your weakest moments, okay? Because if you're winterized for your weakest moments, you're gonna kill it the rest of the time, right? You also have to think scale and leverage. Where do you want to be? I'm assuming, and I saw some hands earlier, a lot of you want to hire an admin. Maybe a lot of you want to start a team or are already starting a team, right? And so you have to think about the scale and the leverage you need to hit those big goals. When we launched what is now known as LevPros, our goal was to become the largest transaction management company in the world. Really big talk for $400 and no staff, okay? And so we had to think, what do we have to do step by step to scale this in such a way that we can achieve that goal? And what leverage do we need? By leverage, I mean people, systems, processes, right? Another thing we learned is that throughout all of this, we needed to constantly self-assess and build a squad. You as leaders, right, have to be very honest with yourself. What is it that you're willing to do? What is it that you're willing to try to be better at? What is it that you're not willing to do? And you have to decide how to build a squad, right, that supports your weaknesses. I've heard Gary say from the stage about 5 years ago, funnily enough, that two things. He uses 5 in 2 big quotes, right? One is that you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I took that really literally because I wanted to get better. And so if you're looking at the people you spend the most time with and they don't look like who you want to become, you're not in the right place. And I had to do some serious reflection when I really understood that quote for the first time. The second thing he talks about is that you're only 5 years away from anywhere you want to be. Ironically, I think those two things are very connected because it was about 5 years ago that I took that quote to heart and I changed my life. And I've achieved every goal I had for the last 5 years. Thank you, thank you. Certainly not because I'm exceptionally talented in any way. It's just because I copy really smart people. And that's all we have to do. The models exist, right? The other thing we learned is, your goals have to be SMART. I think most of us have heard that acronym. I don't know that I'll belabor it much, but you have to be really smart, okay, in how you set your goals. I actually moved too fast. I want to go back to the squad because I learned a couple of things when we launched. No one in this room wants me to design their logo or their website. I promise you want my marketing department's back there going, nope, don't let them do it, right? The other thing you don't want me to do is to build your website. Nope, you don't want me to do anything that's tech related. I know what I'm good at, right? And I know what I'm not good at. So I went out and found the people who could support me. And I found 3 people who, I won't say much about their sanity, but they did come on this journey with no promise of any pay, right? And decided to join me. And that's because they understood what we were trying to do and we shared that why. And so I found Melanie Martinleff, who's my marketing guru, who is amazing and designs beautiful things. And I found Jason Corbett, who's our tech and systems guru and that can build things I can't even imagine and takes an idea that I have and triples it, right? I found Nassim Zaran, who was our CFO, now our controller as part of KW, who understood processes and models and could build these amazing spreadsheets that I couldn't even understand, let alone create. And so those folks became what I call our squad or our founding 4. And here's the thing. Remember how I said I didn't want to be lonely in business? For those of you who are getting ready to start a team or make that first hire, I think you also have to be really reflective of what is it that you want to own. And in this, I mean not taking ownership, I mean equity. What is it that you actually want to own? I was okay not owning 100% of the business because I knew when I was 100%, it was all me, I would never get rid of the job, and it was real lonely. And so because I had no money, and because I needed to cast a vision, those 3 folks literally became founders of the company alongside of me within a month of us starting it, right? And they had equity, and they had control, and they took care of their buckets, right? And so that's really important when you're bringing someone into your world. Know what you're willing to give away. For me, I'd rather own 10% of a company that's worth $100 million, right, than 100% of a company that's worth $1 million. You do the math. For some of us, ego is so important that it has to be our name and we have to be the only decision maker. If that's you and you know that's you, scale your business accordingly, right? The last thing I want to share is our philosophy that we talk about at LevPros, which is different, good, better, best. And what I mean by that is almost no one can go from 0 to 100 overnight. You all heard of the 5:30 a.m.ers or whatever crazy nonsense it is, 4:30 a.m.ers, no offense. Okay, I'm not a morning person, right? And that's something I've been working on a long time, right? And so I couldn't go from sleeping till 9:30 every day, because I was an agent, right? Sometimes it was 10:30. Okay, I couldn't go from sleeping to 9:30, 10:30 every day and start waking up at 5:30 a.m. Just wasn't gonna happen. Okay? But I was, and what I did as we started the company is I started to push the time back 15 minutes. And I'd hold that for a few weeks, and then I'd push the time back 15 minutes. And now I get up at the crack of 7:30 every day, right? And for me, that works in my business, okay? So, those are some of the things we learned on how to shift proof. But then when you get going, it gets hard. Working within a shift is hard. People are tired and cranky. So how do you stay motivated? You constantly have to adapt and analyze your systems, your processes, your goals. And you can't be so married to an idea that's yours because it was yours that you're willing to overlook a better idea. You constantly have to feed your mindset. Much like many folks on teams, we have a weekly meeting, right? And we're running through our day, the things we have to do for the week. But early on, as it got really hard, we realized that we needed to take 15 to 20 minutes every week and do some sort of training or mindset activity with our folks. That was really important. Another issue that we found, and I think this is an issue in the best of times, but especially in the hard times, is open communication. Right? Especially from a pandemic when we're all working from home, none of us understood how life was gonna function, right? How do we close the loop on communication so we can actually progress? So we can build from good to better to best, right? Well, we created a tech forward, again, not the tech person, so, sorry, David and Jason and all the wonderful tech people, it's not me. But we created this awesome tech forward ecosystem that became our virtual office. And really smart people like Jason Corbett built and connected it to Asana and Zoom and Slack, and it runs our sales funnel. And when you book an info session with us, you get the Zoom link and you come in and there's someone in our lobby that greets you just like they would if it was a brick and mortar office. And there are 15 or 20 breakout rooms at any given time in our office. We might have 100 folks in there doing info sessions, training, different things. And so that helped us close the loop on our communications. And then you also have to be willing to master your skill set. You constantly have to try to improve, to get better, right? To get a little bit better every day, to go from good to better to best. And if you're nowhere near there, just get up. I'll share a story about how not ego-driven we are as leaders. I hired an assistant back in December. He's actually right there. Hi, Mark. And today we were in another breakout, and they were talking about healthy habits and how to build a good habit. And he leaned over and he said, you haven't been to the gym since we've been here. And I've been on a weight loss journey. I'm down 70 pounds. I will take applause for that. Thank you. And so he was right? And I needed folks like that to hold me accountable to who I want to be, who I'm committing to be. Another huge lesson we took away during the pandemic was that we have to be vulnerable with our team. You have to honestly assess your skills and habits. Again, you have to know what you're willing to work on and change and be honest about your shortcomings. My team knew from the beginning I'm not a morning person. And I broadcast it to them because I wanted them to hold me accountable to be there anyway. right? But I wanted them to know it was hard for me. Sometimes as leaders, we think we can't let folks see us struggle, right? But you have to be willing to be vulnerable with folks and share not only your wins, but all your losses. You gotta lose the ego and take feedback. There is not a person on my team that probably daily doesn't tell me I'm wrong about something, and they're usually right, okay? You need that kind of system in your life, that squad of folks that you trust at a high level that can help guide you. Real quickly, I want to talk about what it is that we should be leveraging, because we hear that word a lot, right? And leverage, again, can be systems, it can be people, it can be processes. What we learned is the first one is maybe not so obvious. You should leverage things you're good at. Now, I do not mean you're one thing, and in this room that's probably lead generation, so that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the things that you have mastered and the skill sets that you have, you've already mastered those. Teach someone else how to do that so you can go to the next level and do the next best thing, right? I heard a great example in another panel earlier about, and we do this all the time, recording videos and capture screens. As you're doing things, so you're creating a training manual, right, as you go along. You should be doing that right now as solo agents. One day, you're going to want to bring leverage into your business, and the more prepared you are and the more training materials you have, the easier it will be. You also want to leverage things that don't drive revenue. That's why we started LevPros. In my opinion, right, transaction management is mostly a dead ROI cost. You're not getting 9 times, which is what the Red Book tells us we should be getting. And so how could we create something that would add value to agents, right? And so we believe that transaction management is absolutely something that can be leveraged. Leverage things that other people can do better than you. I'm not building your website, okay? Find things that you can leverage that someone else can do for less. I hate doing laundry, it's my least favorite thing. And so the minute I could, I gave that away, right? And I have a laundry service that comes and picks that up. And then never your one thing. As an agent, that one thing is lead generation. As a business owner, guess what my one thing is? Lead generation, right? I stay in that lane, bringing in the top of the funnel so that my folks who are doing different things can stay focused on their one things. So to summarize, I just want to share a little bit about not only how to succeed in a shift, but how to thrive. And I want to give you 4 takeaways. The first is, if you prepare for the worst, you're going to thrive in any market. The second is, if you understand your why, you'll never quit. There was a moment in the pandemic when we had hired those first few people and real estate had totally shut down in PA, and my leaders and I were Venmoing each other money so we could buy toilet paper and groceries. That's how real it got for us during the pandemic. I sold most of the furniture in my house to make payroll. But I believed in it enough and I didn't quit. The other is that leverage can solve, thank you. The other is that leverage can solve for loneliness in business. I didn't want to do it by myself anymore. I wanted a team of folks that ran as fast as me, that got me, that I could get them, and we trusted each other. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is that a leader is only as good as their weakest habit. Sit with that for a second. What's your weakest habit? If you're going to bring people into your world, that's the thing they're going to see. That's the thing they're going to notice more than any of your good qualities. So are you willing to work on those things so that you can get better and build a team and leverage, right, and lead and build something massive? I hope that experience and what we built had a couple of ahas for you, something that you can take away and use. Mostly, I just want to leave you with, again, I believe in the models that we're taught at this company. That's why I'm here. That's why I've been here my entire real estate career. That's why this company is now here. Because we, as Dave said, we are the model company. We already have the book. We just got to go and do it. Thank you so much for my time.
That was great.